If you grew up in an Asian American household, you might have heard some of these things. What's wrong with your face? You look filled out. You are not eating enough. Why do you look like that? These are some very hurtful things that may have shaped your concept of your own beauty today. What does it mean for us as we celebrate Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month? And what does it mean for you in the journey to achieve your most beautiful self? Let's get into it.
You Are Beautiful, podcast with J. Kim ND.
This May, we are celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and I'm very proud of my heritage. I'm glad that my heritage allows me to have access and certain privileges that would have been different had I grown up in a different background or in a different culture. Having said that, there are some negative things that each culture has. And when it comes to Asian American culture, when it comes to immigrant culture, more generally speaking, there are a lot of things in our childhood and our growing up that are hurdles in terms of our mindset, in terms of our self-confidence, in terms of achieving a more beautiful version of ourselves. And for me, I think, growing up as an immigrant, being teased about, oh, you look different, or why is your skin like that? These are very hurtful things that, growing up, kids who we just didn't know any better, right? They would say to us, and you'd have to take it because if you lashed out, you get in trouble. And so you internalize those things. And when you go home, your immigrant parents don't really know how to deal with that situation because they grew up in the motherland, so they didn't have to deal with it. And on top of that, Asian Americans, the most of us, we didn't grow up talking about our feelings. We didn't grow up saying, oh, that was hurtful, or hey, I'm sorry. Things like that validate our mental and emotional journeys. So when you think about getting teased as a kid, back in the days before cell phones, it was pretty bad. But nowadays, with cell phones and social media, the internet, it's an even tougher hurdle to overcome because you're not only dealing with the battle within yourself from whatever you've experienced in real life, you're also dealing with beauty standards that are overtly or subtly implicated in what we see on our phones and on the internet. So if you think about it, the idea that, oh, I'm Asian, I'm beautiful, that's not something we heard all that much growing up. A lot of immigrants can identify with this idea of being the other. And, we thought about, oh, if I wash myself with enough soap, will I be lighter? Or will I look more Caucasian? Will I fit in more? And some of that is, wanting to belong. And we all have that sense of wanting to belong to something bigger than us, whatever community that may be. And for many of us growing up in the States, unless you were in a big metropolitan area with a lot of fellow immigrants, you felt like the outsider. Being the outsider is tough. You don't get that sense of belonging. You don't feed off the confidence of saying, hey, I am valued, I am appreciated. That kind of affirmation can be very hard to find sometimes. And even when it does come, it can be hard to accept. I remember someone in college saying, oh, Jay, you're the coolest Asian guy I know. And I struggled with that statement because the immediate next thing I thought was, well, if I weren't Asian and I acted the same way, would I still be regarded as cool? And at the time, I thought, oh, he's just saying that, trying to make it a compliment. If I had confronted him about it, I feel like I would have just made him dig his own grave. That would not have been beneficial to our relationship. So just thinking about, being the outsider, that's a self perception because you know that you don't look like everybody else. But also, it can be exacerbated by other people. It's very hard to find a sense of belonging. And I just think back to the core three tenets that I have on this show is that you are beautiful, you are unique, and you are worth it. Being unique is different than being an outsider. I mean, in both senses, you are one of a kind, so to speak. But on the other hand, being the outsider is having that sense of uniqueness without having a sense of worth or being lesser than everybody else. And when you tie those three tenets together of you are beautiful, you are unique, and you are worth it, to me, that implies a sense of belonging, a sense of community, a sense of everybody else praising and appreciating and valuing what you bring to the table. And the way that I think of it is that, your physical beauty and also how you impact the world to make the world a more beautiful place, that is really where the value of each individual lies. So going back to negative messages that we received as Asian Americans, you know, our relatives, people that our parents know from other community settings, including churches, including recreational clubs, things like that. Um, yeah, very hurtful. I think of one patient that I had who had double eyelid surgery here a couple of years ago, and she's a lovely lady, got a couple young kids, and the surgery went great. She had double eyelid surgery with me under local anesthesia, and she did great. Her healing process was great. Her before and after pictures were website worthy. And the very last time that we had a virtual follow up together, she was crying, and I said, "What's wrong? What's going on?" And she said, basically, "I don't feel beautiful." And we were digging a little bit deeper into the situation, and it turns out that people in her life whose opinion really mattered to her, I won't say exactly who, they were saying, "Oh, you look different." Their feedback about her results was very negative. And I think about that and I say it's such a pity that we're not building each other up. We are putting each other down, criticizing when we have plastic surgery, criticizing when we don't have plastic surgery, criticizing when we start the beauty journey, or being criticized when you're not doing what somebody thinks you should be doing regarding your beauty. It's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Like BuzzFeed, for example, will have videos about immigrants, how their self perception of beauty was shaped growing up. And you hear about people who have heard conflicting messages. Oh, you're too tan, or you're not tan enough, or you're too skinny, or you're too chubby. And nothing about your appearance may have changed at all. And so just thinking about, those messages and how that affects your sense of beauty, your sense of self, just very harmful sometimes. It's very hard to carry that childlike confidence that you had when you were like 3, 4, 5 years old, when all you knew was your parents' love, the words of affirmation that you got when you were younger, before school started, before all those other influences come into your life. It's very tough because it's on our phones, right? And so it's constant, it's everywhere. you know um, just social media feeds just know what you're looking at and what to show you next to get you to buy, to get you to want something that you don't have right now. The thing is, the more those messages come at you, the more they beat down or try to tear down the idea of, hey, you are enough, you are beautiful, you are unique, you are worth it. And just dealing with that as a minority, dealing with that as an immigrant, dealing with that even in relationships, like your sense of self worth going into a romantic relationship. Hey, does this person like me? Does this person think that I'm beautiful? That's an important thing to think about when you're entering into new relationships, especially romantic relationships. You think about that physical attraction, that intimacy, that um, as much as we like to say, oh, I'm, with that person for their personality, looks matter to some degree. And just having that self confidence of, hey, I am beautiful, and this person thinks that I'm beautiful. That's just a huge thing in terms of like self confidence and your beauty journey and the process of becoming a more beautiful version of you. The irony sometimes of these where these hurtful messages come from is sometimes they come from communities that you want to be a part of. Gosh, sometimes they come from your own family. And of course, they love you, but sometimes the things they say can be harmful. I mean, sometimes relatives can say, "What happened to your face?" Or, "Oh, you look more chubby." Or, "Oh, you're too slim now. You better eat more." I mean, in Asian culture, like telling someone to eat, is a sign of affection, is a sign of endearment. At the same time, like, what if you're struggling with an eating disorder because you don't like how you look? That flies in the face of what you're going through right now. And just thinking about, body image, especially when it comes to the face, because you have to show your face all the time. Um, you don't, you cover your most of the rest of your body on a day to day basis. Just thinking about, oh, like when people go through acne breakouts, yeah, the negative feedback that can come to you is just so damning. It's so hurtful. And that it's an issue, and you're trying to do something about it. It's just that acne is so stubborn, and people in your life who have no filter, they will let you know. And meanwhile, inside you're thinking to yourself, yes, I know, don't say anything about it. Like, why do you have to make me feel worse about it? Just very, very hurtful sometimes. That is directly in contradiction to the message that I'm trying to convey and through this podcast and through much of my online content, is that, you know, no matter what stage of beauty you're in, you are beautiful. And everybody has a different journey. So in that sense, you are unique. And because you're beautiful and because you're worth it, you know, you can carry yourself with your head held high. That's what I think about when it comes to mental health, when it comes to the Asian American experience, when it comes to our idea of beauty. The other aspect of this is what we see in terms of K-pop. And it's not limited to just the Korean media. Other Asian countries, they have very beautiful people on the screen all the time. And I can speak about the Korean experience a little more than others, but you know that many, many, many Korean A-listers, celebrities have plastic surgery. They have aesthetic procedures regularly. And the just the tourism business culture around aesthetics and plastic surgery in Korea is so big that you can't not see it. If you've seen BTS, if you've seen Blackpink, if you've seen any Korean drama for that matter, the beauty that you see on screen, how is that affecting your perception of your own beauty? Recently, there was a viral reel on Instagram, you know, asking regular Korean young people on the street, oh, how would you rate your beauty out of a 10? And so many people said like 2 or a 3. And, oh, I'm only going to get to a 5 if I get plastic surgery. The idea of plastic surgery being so pervasive, you know, and the thing is, like, as a plastic surgeon, yes, I like to see patients. Yes, I like to make you more beautiful. I like to help you achieve the most beautiful version of yourself. At the same time, if those three core tenets are not there, you are beautiful, you are unique, and you are worth it, ultimately you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for somebody else. People who probably don't care all that much about you. You know, whoever the trolls are that are commenting on your social media feed are, those aunties who see you like once a year or once every couple of years. Their opinion doesn't matter over yours. And the message that I want to give to you today is that ultimately it's up to you to get on the beauty journey to achieve the most beautiful version of yourself. Everybody has a different journey, and your beauty now will change. And how you want to achieve that most beautiful version of yourself, how you want to impact the world with your most beautiful self, that's where I want to help you. If you're not ready, just mentally in terms of feeling secure about where you are in terms of your physical appearance and how you want to impact the world with your most beautiful self, maybe it's not the right time to start your beauty journey. And that's okay. But I do want you to internalize, again, the three core tenets of our practice. Number one, you are beautiful. Number two, you are unique. And number three, you are worth it. Tell yourself these three things in front of a mirror every single day. If you do it after you brush your teeth, that's a great place to start. Again, this month we highlight Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month as well as Mental Health Awareness Month. And in that vein, I just want to encourage you to tell yourself you are beautiful, you are unique, and you are worth it. That's where the beauty journey begins, with that mindset. And you may not have ever told yourself that before, or it may have been a long time since you told yourself, or if anybody else told you that you are beautiful. Highlighting the immigrant experience, the Asian American experience, in terms of our mental health, in terms of how we perceive our own beauty and how society is shaping our perception of our own beauty. These are things that are always on my mind, because in the end, having this in the correct place for you means that you are much better equipped to achieve the most beautiful version of yourself. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the You Are Beautiful podcast with J. Kim, MD. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the Asian American experience with mental health and with regard to our own identity and beauty. I would love your feedback. Please leave a comment down below, or you can send an email to podcast.youarebeautiful@gmail.com. We love your feedback and your ideas for further content and episodes. Until next time, you are beautiful, you are unique, and you are worth it. Take care.